If you love flying but also want to help offset the impact that flying has on the environment, check out App in the Air. The app makes it easy to track your carbon footprint and buy offsets to become a carbon neutral traveler, which is much cheaper than I expected it to be. For example, 2 round-trip flights from Athens to Mykonos only cost $1 to offset. Best of all, the offset will code as a travel purchase, so you will earn those bonus points. Check out App in the Air and get 20% off of your next flight when you book directly through the app by using the code Geobreeze at checkout. Thank you to App in the Air for partnering with this episode of the Geobreeze Travel Podcast. Welcome to the Geobreeze Travel Podcast, a show for anyone wanting to level up their travel hacking lifestyle. I'm your host, Julia Menez. I'm a travel hacker, coach, speaker, Filipino-American ENTJ who loves solid travel gear and using shortcuts on spreadsheets. On this show, I'm on a mission to bring you travel hackers from all walks of life to help you level up your travel hacking game. We dive into credit cards, miles, points, strategy, mindset, and the secrets behind how to travel the world for next to no cost. So let's get hacking.
He had told my mother, like, oh, we have towels from that resort. Just grab the towels out of the linen closet and go ahead and go and enjoy the resort. It's no big deal. It's fine. And my mom just was like, yeah, let's do this. And I knew better. I totally knew better. But just, okay, let's give it a try. She was adamant that we should try it. Let's do it. You know, I actually did this with my small children. And my husband is just like, what are we doing? Why are we sneaking onto this property? And a part of me thought, well, the trail leads you right there. Why? They must not really be working hard to keep people off this property. So we go and we kind of suss it out. And sure enough, you know, the towels match up that we walked in with. And my mom sits down and I take a beat and I say, okay, like, let's do this. And we get into this like beach lagoon area they have. It's super fancy. And we're probably like 10 minutes in the water. And my mom summons someone to come take her order. And that's it. Just blew our whole cover.
Hey there, points people. You just heard a clip from Shaila Arbona from Travel Hacking Vita. Shaila began her travel hacking journey 1 year ago, and in her first year, earned over 1 million points. Shaila wants to spread awareness about the perks of travel hacking so that more women, families, and people of color can access opportunities for travel. She's also a coaching client of mine, and I am so proud of everything she was able to accomplish in the first year. In this episode, Shaila and I discuss how she earned more than 1 million points and how she used those points to stay at some incredible luxury resorts in California, such as a couple of St. Regis Hotels and the Alila Ventana Big Sur, which can often go for more than $3,000 per night. One of the cards that was instrumental in Shaila's journey was the World of Hyatt card, which lets you earn points towards luxury hotels like the Alila and also helps you reach Globalist status with Hyatt faster. However, you don't need Globalist status to enjoy Globalist perks. One thing you can do is ask a Globalist friend to make a guest of honor booking for you after you transfer some points into their account, and you'll be treated as if you have the Globalist status yourself when you make your Hyatt stay. If you're interested, I provide guest of honor booking services to my full strategy coaching clients. You can find links to sign up for coaching and the World of Hyatt card in the show notes below. And now, on with the show. Hey, Shaila, welcome to the Geobreeze Travel Podcast.
Hi, Julia. Thanks for having me.
Of course, I'm so excited to have you here today. You're a client, and I'm so excited with all of the cool trips that you have been able to take since really taking off with points and miles. So excited to talk about a couple of very luxurious California hotel stays today. Before we get into that, tell us a little bit about yourself and how did you get into the wonderful game of award travel and points and miles?
Thanks, Julia. Yes, you have been my North Star through this whole process. So I can't say enough good things about you and how you've helped me. But essentially, it was about a year ago that I discovered travel hacking. And the way it came about was I had, in 2020, when the pandemic hit, I discovered, the FIRE movement, financial independence, retire or relax, however you want to say it early. And I found myself really sort of at a crossroads with my travel. I had always prioritized travel in my life, with my family, and I didn't want to have to sacrifice that. I had sacrificed my financial goals up until that point and realized like that just wasn't going to work anymore. Luckily, during the pandemic, there really wasn't much of an opportunity for travel, so that gave me some time to really like hone in and assess how to move forward with this, how to be more financially responsible, but also still maintain, that travel itch that I had. And then the algorithm brought me Geobreeze travel. And that's really, you were the first person I ever came across that talked about how to travel hack, how to leverage points and miles for travel. And then that was it. Once I realized that this was something that I could incorporate into my life, I just went full force. And prior to actually working with you, I went right in 3 cards in one day. And I remember messaging you and you said, "You did what now?" And like, "Okay, slow down." And so then things really started to take shape after that.
What were the 3 cards that you got in the same day?
Chase Sapphire Preferred, which I'm so grateful for. That was a great first card. So the Chase Sapphire Preferred, I got that at the 80,000 bonus and then was furious. It went up to 100 after that, but that's okay. When it went back down to 60, I felt better. So I got it at 80K and referred my husband to. He got it at 80K also. And then the other 2 cards were both hotel cards. And this is where like my novice of not really understanding strategy really kind of came into play. I got the Marriott Bonvoy Brilliant card and the World of Hyatt card. And I really, yeah, had no idea what I was really doing with those 2 cards, but just proceeded, and it ended up working out.
How did you meet the minimum spend for all of the cards since you got 3 in one day?
Yeah.
Then the Sapphire card's like 4,000 of minimum spend. The World of Hyatt is 3,000. I forget the Brilliant, I think is 4 or 5,000. That's a lot of spend. Did you have a big
It
purchase
was
that was coming up?
We did. We had, this is going to sound crazy, but our roof started leaking. And so I thought right away, like, oh, this is a great way to utilize some of that spend. I have to admit, I didn't have a solid plan when I signed up. I just thought like my expenses may cover it and something might come up. And I think, but my expenses, my day to day expenses over the 3 months, and then some other things here and there really took care of the Chase Sapphire Preferred. But the other 2, I did have to get creative. And luckily, the expenses that came along with my roof leaking and then some other stuff that had to get done as a result were able to clear those other cards. But because of the fire movement, I was prepared for such emergencies and was able to pay everything off in full and have accrued no debt or paid any interest to any credit card companies.
That is the important part, just making sure that
Yep.
you have that emergency fund ready to go because
Yep.
that would be awful if somebody racked up 12,000 of credit card spend just to get the sign up bonuses and then realized, oh my God, I don't have enough in the bank to pay that off. And then the interest rates on $12,000 would completely wipe out it, all of the
No.
benefits of this.
Going into debt or paying interest is not the vibe. Nope, we're not doing that. Not on my watch.
Definitely not the vibe. So, for what is the vibe, all of these luxury trips, tell us what was the first trip that you were able to redeem for once you got some of these points in the bank?
The first trip I was able to redeem, I went on a girls' weekend with my sisters to the Ritz Carlton Palm Springs. I was able to get 2 nights there. And I don't know why I had forgotten about it. And I think it's because I just, anyway. So the Ritz Carlton Palm Springs, that was my first trip with my sisters. And my sisters were just like, wait, how are we doing this? Wait, how are we here? What's going on? I'd also been able to use points for my flight there to Alaska. So was able to get us all into the lounge. And so that they were just really like, what is happening right now? Why are we in this lounge? And why are we going to go stay at the Ritz? And it was really, really, really cool. And then fast forward to February of 2022, I redeemed 2 free night certificates for the Ritz Carlton Half Moon Bay. And that was really special. My husband and I had 2 nights there, and it's just a gorgeous property. I'm a real sucker for a Ritz, just a real sucker for a Ritz. And I'd originally thought that I was going to go all in on Marriott, but I'm not loving, all the point stuff going on with Marriott anymore. So that's making it harder and harder to stick with them. But I'm a sucker for a Ritz.
It's really good that you were able to get these really fancy stays in before the Marriott
Yeah,
devaluation happened in March.
exactly. I'm like, oh, I think those days are over. And I've gotten on the Hyatt train since.
For anybody who has the magical Marriott certificate still sitting around, or just a good way to get a lot of Marriott points, describe to us the experience of these hotels in Palm Springs, Half Moon Bay. What was it like?
I mean, they just take such good care of you. Everything, the details are so spot on and luxurious. And I remember my sister had an issue with she was nursing. She had just had a child a few months prior and she was nursing, and there was an issue with the breast pump that she had brought on the trip. And they went out and like got the thing that she needed for it. And she ended up needing to go out and buy a new one anyway. But they really tried hard to like solve this very specific problem for her. And just overall, like the food is fantastic. And I just love ordering poolside, sipping champagne. That's really where when I'm living my best life, and you just really get that at the Ritz. At the Half Moon Bay Resort, at the Half Moon Bay Ritz Carlton, I would say that just the scenery, the views are unparalleled. It's gorgeous. Fireside drinks, and bagpiper comes out each night and kind of serenades you with the bagpipes as the sun goes down. It's really quite lovely.
For anybody who's not familiar, where is Half Moon Bay?
Half Moon Bay is close to San Francisco. I'd say probably like between San Francisco and San Jose, but coastal. And yeah, it's Northern California. It's really, there's not too much else there. Few cool restaurants. We found great hiking spots there. But yeah, that's really like the jewel of Half Moon Bay is that Ritz Carlton property.
Tell us a little bit more about the food that you were able to get at these restaurants and these hotel properties. What did you order that was really good?
I mean, so they had this. We got room service while we were staying there, and for breakfast, and they had this chia pudding and avocado toast. I mean, it's so California. It was so so classic California, and it was so delicious. My husband and I have been trying to replicate this chia pudding ever since, and we can't quite match it. It was just so like decadent and just everything so fresh. Sometimes when you go to hotels, you really lack in that like freshness quality. But at the Ritz Carlton, you're always getting like the freshest, most, quality ingredients. And I'm a real sucker for that. So,
It's nice in California too, because
yeah,
it's just the center of agriculture. So for something
yes,
probably traveled an hour and then is at the hotel.
absolutely. Absolutely. Yes. And typically in my previous experience, we would really avoid eating at hotels. But whenever I'm staying at a nicer hotel, I'll give it a shot. And the Ritz Carlton never disappoints, just real great quality, I would say.
Was there anything special about like the bedrooms or the bathrooms or anything? Did you guys get upgraded to a suite or anything like that?
Yes, we got upgraded to a ocean view suite, and I've seen a few other travel hackers as of late that have gone there that have gotten like rooms with fire pits. There must have just not been availability when we went, but I'm also a sucker for a fire pit. Luckily, they have them outside in the grounds where everyone can kind of congregate. But yeah, we got upgraded to an ocean view suite, and it was beautiful. I mean, it just we left the window open. So when we woke up, it was the first thing that we saw. And it was just really, really special.
How did you get upgraded? Did you have Marriott status through your credit card or something else?
I had gold status through my credit card, but I think it had more to do with using your template. So, yeah, I would say that I messaged them right before and I bordered on annoying them, I think, because I did follow up to make sure they received and they were like, yes, we made a note. And sure enough, but when I checked in, they were really, really friendly and lovely and like, yep, you've got an upgrade to an ocean view room. So it was awesome. No, it was the first time that it worked, actually. I don't have much luck getting upgraded. So that was the first time that it worked.
Had you tried with the upgrade template before and it just didn't work at other properties?
Yes, yes. I had tried when I went to New York. This was a paid trip. So before my points really started hitting and I was ready to start redeeming, and while I was still kind of working on them, I had went on a trip with my mother and my daughter to New York, a little girls trip. And that was a paid trip. And I tried to get upgraded there and it was a no-go. And then at the Ritz Carlton Palm Springs, we were there Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So it was amazing that I was able to get the room with points at all. And there's just no way they were at full capacity that we were going to get an upgrade then.
Yeah, that's a good point. Sometimes people are like, oh, the upgrade template didn't work. It doesn't work 100% of the time. If
No.
you are traveling on a Wednesday on off season and you have status, almost guaranteed that you'll get an upgrade. If you don't have status and you're traveling over like the week of Christmas to somewhere that's a huge destination, almost guaranteed you're not going to. So there's a few different things at play that all kind of work together. But if you're celebrating a birthday or an anniversary or something, it doesn't hurt to ask. I would also say don't just keep using the upgrade template if you're working for like a business trip or something. Like that's not a special occasion. You don't need to be sending the upgrade template for that.
Right. I think it's just always my birthday. Just kidding. But yes, the Half Moon Bay trip, it was Monday, Tuesday we went because obviously we had to, that's when the 50K was available. So 50,000 points per night. So Monday, Tuesday, we got the upgrade. Any weekend trips, not going to happen especially on busy weekends. Yeah. Just don't count on it.
Yeah. But it is always a nice surprise when the upgrade template does work. I would say also, some people do this where they're going to cram 4 people into like a double room and this really bank on the upgrade happening. Don't do that. The upgrade template should just be a nice extra on top of an already nice trip. If you are dependent on that upgrade or else you're going to have a really bad time, that's not what the upgrade template is for. It's just extras.
Totally. It's just a little cherry on the sundae, but the sundae would still work without it.
Absolutely. So, all right. We've talked about the Half Moon Bay. We've talked about Palm Springs. What's your next trip that you are going to be taking on points and miles?
So the next trip is also a California trip. I'm going to be going to the Alila Ventana in Big Sur. So really excited about that. With that one, I did book a suite. I used more points to book a suite because it's Mother's Day weekend. And again, it's going to be packed. So I didn't want to bank on that. I really wanted to kind of splurge, especially because it's such a special property. So really excited about the all-inclusivity of it. And I'd stayed in Big Sur before at a neighboring resort that was really lovely. So I want to be able to compare the two.
How did you find award availability on Mother's Day weekend? Because in case anybody doesn't know, Alila Ventana Big Sur is one of those bucket list point things. They have 40 rooms on property. Yep. It is almost impossible to find award availability most days. I have a couple days in November. I am so excited for it. But especially in the summertime, holiday weekends like Mother's Day weekend, how are you doing this?
Just by following other accounts. I think somebody, and I can't remember who, but somebody posted like, hey, there's availability. They just released availability for Alila Ventana. I was sitting on a bunch of chase points and I decided to go for it. And to be honest, I didn't even realize it was Mother's Day weekend when I booked it. I just wanted, first weekend in May, that should be good weather. Yep, they have availability. Great. And just went for it. So just by following travel accounts and travel hacking accounts, you get these like little like, hey, this is just got released, and this availability just got released. And I was able to jump on it and score, and I'm so excited.
If you are listening to this episode thinking, I wish I could travel like this, but I don't know where to start, I offer free credit card consultations by email at geobreezetravel.com/consultations. Additionally, I host a masterclass and group coaching session each month through the Patreon. We've also added a new Patreon feature. Once you've been in the Patreon for 12 consecutive months, I will gift you a vacation voucher to the city of your choice. I've also added an option to sign up for an annual membership. With this option, you will get 2 free masterclasses each year, and you'll get your vacation package voucher upfront. You can find more information about the vacation vouchers, consultations, and more in the show notes. This week's Patreon shoutout goes out to Jen. Thank you so much for being a part of the Geobreeze Travel Patreon community. Congratulations. That's amazing. Mm-hmm. I also think it possibly helps because you booked a standard suite or premium suite. Do you know how many
I booked a premium suite. And this was before it went up in points price. It was 45,000 points. Yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes if you're going for the suite instead of the standard room, because everybody wants the 3 the $3,000 standard room for about 30,000 points. Now it's gone up to 40,000 for most standard days, unless you're finding an off-peak rate. If you're going for the higher rooms, there might actually be a little bit more availability.
Yeah, that might be another reason why I was able to secure it. But I want to say there was a standard room available at the same time, and I opted for the suite. So
Nice. Yeah, those, they go fast. They go super fast.
they do, and I just jumped on it because somebody posted that they had availability. So off I went.
These days, since the points price has gone up with Hyatt reconfiguring their categories and their award chart, a standard room is going to cost about 40,000. Standard suite is going to be 60, and then a premium is going to be around 80. How do you get that many points? Like, you've stayed in some very nice luxury hotels. How are you guys earning your points?
So luckily, my husband jumped on with me. And so we're operating in two-player mode, which means, we're both getting cards, we're referring each other to cards. So that's one way that we're generating a lot of points. He also has, a pretty decent amount of, spend related to his business. So that's also helpful. We pay tax. He has to pay quarterly taxes too. And so we usually line that up with bonuses as well. So, and then he also qualifies for business cards and I qualify for business cards. So I kind of say that we're in four-player mode in reality. And that's really how we maximize.
Those business cards are such a game changer if you're able to get Chasing Business Cash, Unlimited, Preferred. Just between those three cards and their sign-up bonuses, what is that? 250,000 points?
Yeah. And he got three cards, I got two of those cards. And then I hit 524 and I'm locked out of the last one. So, but yeah, we still did pretty well. And the business cash is, a great points generator for us. We have some really like guaranteed expenses month to month, and we'll go to Staples or go to Office Depot and get gift cards for those specific expenses. Like our children love Chipotle. They're going to eat Chipotle once a week all month long. So I know I can just go buy Chipotle gift cards. And that's money I was going to spend anyway. Same thing with Target, same thing with Amazon. Although lately I feel like they've been clearing the gift cards out of Amazon. But right now you get 5X with the Flex. So we've been optimizing that.
Yeah, taking advantage of those 5X categories is a way to super boost. Yeah. Like you said, the money that you were going to spend anyway. Chipotle, which I feel like is better in California than a lot of other Chipotles. I feel like if I go to Chipotle in California or Colorado or something, it's just so much better than the Chipotle here in New Jersey. The Chipotles here are not good. But just between that and the Target spend, like you mentioned, Amazon, if you're already spending at a lot of these categories, imagine just earning 5X on all of that, in addition to the sign-up bonus that you're getting for these different Chase cards. You can stay at luxury properties all the time by doing that.
Yep. Yeah, that's a big points generator for us. It's maximizing 5X on a lot of categories that we already spend. So
does it cause any problems for you to put non-business expenses like Chipotle and Target on your business card? Does your accountant get mad or anything?
No, because those aren't the cards we use to report back to our accountant. We have separate cards that we do that. We keep that separate. So my husband uses his Chase Business Inc. as his business card, and it's just for business expenses. And I use, I think, my Chase Business Unlimited for any business expenses, which is great. One and a half times points, but I don't really have a lot of business expenses, whereas my husband does. So if he needs to get a new computer, it's a shame that I can't figure out a way to like weasel 5X for it, but at least we're getting something for it. And it's a write-off. And when he uses his Chase Business Inc. Preferred.
That is also a really good point. So just because you've used your EIN to get these business credit cards doesn't mean you have to use them for business. Right. If you want to keep them just off of your QuickBooks, people do that. And the problem you run into is when you keep going back and forth over the line of, I'll kind of use it for business and I'll kind of use it for personal. I did that last year, and it was a pain to comb out all of those things out of my QuickBooks. My accountant thought I was crazy and got a little bit upset with like just the commingling of the funds and all that. So don't do that. Do what Shaila did, where if you're getting multiples of these different business credit cards, just use one for your business, one for personal. You won't be able to optimize every single little thing, like she
No.
said, but honestly, the time that it took me to clean out that mess was not worth what I earned in 5x points from Staples run shenanigans. So that's just something to kind of keep in mind as you go down the business card route. It very much helps to have the EIN to get access to these cards, but once you have them, people ask all the time, are you allowed to put personal expenses on them? Yes, but once you do, just kind of decide what you want each card to be for.
Exactly. Each card really has a specific purpose in our arsenal of cards, and we try to be very, diligent about making sure we don't commingle the purposes.
So, as you are preparing for this Alila Ventana Big Sur trip, have you been researching the hotel much? Is there anything that you're super excited about on property or anything other than just it's all inclusive and your food is included and all of that?
The food, yeah, that's I'm really excited about, just being able to order what I want and get what I want and not have to think about what it costs because it's already been incorporated into my stay, and that's really exciting. Yeah, the food and just the scenery. We love to just walk around and do. I'm not an avid hiker, but I enjoy a good hike here and there. So just to be out in nature will be fantastic. But the food, number one, always.
Have you heard that part of the Alila Ventana Big Sur is clothing optional for like a pool or something?
I You saying that jogs a memory of hearing something about that. Maybe they do have one little like pool that's off to the side that they allow that for, but I don't know.
I have heard that there is one pool does that. It's not something that comes up a lot on points and miles blogs. Everyone's just saying, "Oh, Alila Ventana Big Sur, it's this many points. You saved $11,000. It's all
Yeah,
inclusive." That's what everyone focuses on, and nobody ever talks about. And there's one pool that's clothing optional for a lot of people.
but I immediately had a flash to hearing that somewhere else. So there must be something to that. I guess I'll find out. I'll let you know.
Let us know if that's not true. I'm going to edit out this entire section of this
Okay,
conversation.
got
But I
it.
just
I'll
thought
let
that
you
was
know.
a fun. I just thought that was like a funny fact that no one ever talks about on any other hotel reviews that I've read about Alila Ventana Big Sur.
Let's find out.
Any other fun point strips that you have planned in the future? Because you guys are just racking up a ton of points.
We are racking up a ton of points. I will say I depleted my stash quite a bit in booking out all of 2022. So after Alila Ventana, I have a free night cert for a Hyatt that I'm going to use for a concert I'm going to go see in Sacramento. And then, so just that's not really like a huge trip, but just fun that I have that resource now that I didn't have before. Oh yeah, I have a free night certificate from Hyatt and can use it however I want. So I'm going to Kauai in July. So peak time, which isn't great, but I was able to get round trip Southwest for my family of four and we're going to stay at a VRBO with family members for 5 nights, and then we're going to do 3 nights at the Grand Hyatt Kauai. I'm really excited about that trip because I I I've been kicked out of that hotel in years past, probably 10 years ago.
What's the story there?
Okay, so back in my, you know, budget travel days, my mom had secured us a condo in Kauai to go, and it was a friend of a friend, and he just, charged very little to for people to use his condo. He basically it allowed him to make money off of it, but not have to upkeep it to the standard of like you would expect out of an Airbnb today. So it was just real. It was his place. You definitely felt like you were staying in someone else's place. It wasn't catered to you specifically, but it was near a hiking trail that led you to the Kauai resort. And he had told my mother, like, "Oh, we have towels from that resort. Just grab the towels out of the linen closet and go ahead and go and enjoy the resort. It's no big deal. It's fine." And my mom just was like, "Yeah, let's do this." And I knew better. I totally knew better, but just okay, let's give it a try. She was adamant that we should try it. Let's do it. I actually did this with my small children, and my husband is just like, "What are we doing? Why are we sneaking onto this property?" And a part of me thought, well, the trail leads you right there. Why they must not really be working hard to keep people off this property. So we go and I kind of suss it out, and sure enough, the towels match up that we walked in with, and my mom sits down, and I take a beat and I say, okay, like let's do this, and we get into this like beach lagoon area they have that's super fancy, and we're probably like 10 minutes in the water, and my mom summons someone to come take her order, and that's it. Just blew our whole cover. I don't know what she was thinking. Look, obviously we weren't, skilled at this. And sure enough, but they were so like gracious about it too. The the waitress went and alerted security. Security calmly came over and just like whispered to me, like, "So yeah, only guests are allowed to be here." And the humiliation I felt and the shame I felt over that whole experience. That's like one of those like formative, like, I will be back here one day, and I will, I will be a guest in this place. And so I will be a guest. And not only that, but I did not have to pay for it. I used points instead. So that's a double win.
That is not the story I thought was gonna happen. I really thought it was gonna be I was there for somebody's 21st birthday party a long time ago. We got super drunk, got kicked out by security. That's
No.
definitely where I thought it was gonna go. This story was almost better, mostly because your mom summoned over a waitress to be like,
the
"Hello,
the
take our order, please."
the audacity. I mean, we never stayed in places like that. So I don't the audacity she had to be like, "Yes, I would like a cocktail and nachos." Just we weren't supposed to be there. We needed to keep a low profile, and like I said, they weren't, they didn't like haul us out of there or anything. They just said, take your time, but yeah, you got to go. So, yeah, this is vindication for me. And we're bringing her. A part of me feels like, maybe I shouldn't. But, having these experiences with my family is a big like part of why I want to do this. So, yeah, she's going to be coming with us too. So, vindication.
Did she previously also have the audacity to say, "Oh, yes, we'll room charge it to a not real room"? Because that would have been a
No,
cherry
no,
on
no, no,
top.
no, no. That's the part that blew it, is they immediately asked her, "What's your room number?" And she just, that's it. So that's how they knew we weren't actually staying there.
There it is. Well, travel hacking tip, don't do that.
Don't do that. No, 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 especially with small children. Oh, I'm taking my soaking wet children through the lobby of that place. It was just, oh, I can't think of a more humiliating experience I've ever had in my life. So
What hotel was this?
this is the Grand Hyatt in Kauai. It's another really special property. I've seen it, but I'll get to actually enjoy it this time. The last trip we have planned of the year is to the Andes in Costa Rica. That'll be over Thanksgiving break. So that'll wrap up my travel for the year, is going there. So that's also, I really, really, really have kind of dug into Hyatt. So as you can tell.
I've heard great things about that one as well. It's been so long since I've been to Costa Rica, but next time I go, I definitely want to check out that property.
Yeah, I'm really excited. It really depleted a ton of our points. I'm starting to realize that, I'm really constricted with kids' holiday schedules, and, so we're going to peak times for things. So I'm really going to have to sort of re-strategize the way I do things in order to still maximize points. But yeah, no, I think 2022 is definitely going to be a good year for me and my family and travel. So thanks to travel hacking.
For sure. And you really went from 0 to 60. I think a lot of
Yeah.
people earn points and they're just afraid to spend them, like, oh, that was really hard to earn the points. But I love that you have earned your points, burned your points, and you're like, all right, let's come up with a new strategy to earn more so we can do it all over again.
Yep, earn and burn. I absolutely don't want them just sitting there collecting dust. I kind of envy people that just like sit on like hundreds of thousands of points, but I that's just not who I am. So
Oh, no, I do not envy those people because then suddenly a devaluation comes and
sure.
they spent so long earning those points. And then suddenly they realize they can't take the dream trip that they've just been telling themselves, oh, one day I'm going to go to the Andaz or the Park Hyatt or the St. Regis or wherever they want to go. And then they never end up getting to go. Like if somebody was just sitting on Marriott points, telling themselves they were going to go to the Ritz Carlton, Half Moon Bay or Palm Springs, and now it's out of reach again. Oh, that's so frustrating. But new properties and new promos always come up. So that's the thing is earn your points, burn your points on whatever's available around then, meet your goals quickly. And then if you're not able to recreate that one, there's always going to be a new one that comes up. Hyatt just bought a ton of all-inclusive properties in the Caribbean. So I feel like that's going to be the next frontier that we all jump on in 2023.
I saw that. That was very exciting. Absolutely.
So, with everything that you have learned about points and miles in a very short amount of time, what would you say is your number one best piece of advice?
My number one best piece of advice is, I mean, just to go for it. I would say you definitely want to develop a strong financial foundation and to have a plan for how you're going to meet the minimum spends and how you're not going to go into debt, how you're not going to accrue interest. But like more importantly, like I really see travel hacking from the lens of like equity. I want to help people access ways in which they can travel if they weren't able to do so before, or enhance the way that they travel. What I do in my job currently is that I'm a college counselor for first generation students. And at first I didn't see like the cross sectionality of the two things. And, recently I've come to realize that like, oh no, it's about access. I'm really driven to help people navigate these institutions and navigate how to get from point A to point B. So travel hacking, I think, is just a way to open doors for people that, might not have otherwise been able to take advantage of travel or to enhance the way they travel. But my number one piece of advice is to just go for it. And there's no wrong way to do it. Don't ever compare your travel hacking journey to anyone else's travel hacking journey. Stay true to who you are, stay true to what your goals are, define those goals for yourself, and don't compare them to anyone else's, and just keep moving forward. Ask questions, reach out to people. This community is so supportive. I have yet to find anyone in this community where that has not been willing to answer a question of mine or give me, a good referral or a tip on something, and, utilize those resources and, make your travel dreams come true.
Speaking of great resources, can you give out some shout outs to people you would recommend that our listeners follow on the internet for awesome points and miles tips?
Every person you've ever had on this podcast has been an instrumental part of helping me on my journey. But there's the two accounts that I just found that I think, you really like could use some, shed some light on them. It's Lucky Tic Tac and Points Travel Her. I really love to promote, female travel hackers and women of color in this space because there's so few of us. And I love that it's growing. It's really, really exciting. And I'm happy to join and be part of it.
We are happy to have you. There are few of us. We're finding more and more. I'm trying to get as many people onto the podcast as possible, but I love that you are empowering other women of color in the travel hacking space. It's always great when we support each other rather than
Absolutely.
like being weird, thinking that there's some token spot for.
Nope. Absolutely. This is about, lifting each other up and, opening the door for people and seeing how many of us we can get in. So
Absolutely. And where can we find you on the internet?
So you can find me mostly on Instagram at Travel Hacking Vida, and I incorporated the V. All the good names were taken. I have to say that's the one bummer thing about joining kind of at this time. But like every time I see a name, I'm just like, oh dang, that was good. Oh man, I wish I'd thought of that. But I settled on Travel Hacking Vida, Vida meaning life in Spanish, as a nod to my background. And I'm mostly on Instagram, and you can also find me on TikTok, but I'm most active on Instagram. And I'm available to answer any questions. I consider myself an intermediate travel hacker, but beginners, come at me. I got you. So,
I think it's also really helpful for beginners too to find somebody who just got started and then
yes,
going through some of the same challenges that they had very recently, because
it's
sometimes you talk
fresh.
to people who are 10 years in and they're like, hey, what happens when you run into this problem when you first apply for a credit card? And they're going to say, oh, I definitely didn't have that problem back in the day, can't help you. So sometimes it does help
Totally.
to find somebody who just recently went through the steps that you went through.
Yes, wonderful. And I'm happy to help.
Perfect. Well, thank you again, Shaila, so much for coming on to the show. We learned so much about these luxury properties in California. I am even more excited now for my Alila Ventana Big Sur trip in November, and I'm definitely going to have to try to check out a couple of those if I can scrounge together the Marriott points for them.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you. Thank you so much for listening to today's episode of the Geobreeze Travel Podcast. If any of the cards mentioned in today's episode piqued your interest, please check out the links in the show notes for more information on any of the cards. Also, if you apply for a card using the links on that page, I may receive a commission too, so please and thank you. P.S. I hear the links work better in Internet Explorer or Safari, and sometimes the credit card applications tend to glitch out in Chrome. Additionally, it would mean the world to me if you could subscribe to this podcast, leave a 5-star review, and share it with a friend. And if you would like to make even more travel hacking friends, please sign up for the Patreon to access our monthly masterclass hangouts. We dive deep into a particular points program each month, and you'll get to ask all of your travel hacking questions and enjoy being around other people who enjoy points and miles just as much as you and I do. If you would like an invite to the next one, head over to geobreezetravel.com/hangouts to sign up to be on the invite list. Take care and happy travels!